Hey guys, hi, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. Happy Vlogmas Day 22. Super exciting. It's almost over, Vlogmas. I am going to be a little sad when it's over as I've really enjoyed filming every day. I thought it would be a real obligation, but no, it's been pretty spectacular. So after Christmas, I'll do a little, I wouldn't say wrap up, but a little synopsis as to what rewards I discovered from filming every day and what I've sort of discovered there. So I'll do that after Christmas. So let's see, let's start with last night. After I filmed, I went to the movies. I did go to Eclipse Cinema over on 3rd Street in Las Vegas. It's one of those cinemas where you pick your seat when you pay for it downstairs. And it's one of these big overstuffed chairs with a big table. You go up and they actually will serve alcoholic drinks, and it's a full restaurant menu that you can order during the movie. I didn't because the movie was $18 and I wasn't about to spend money on food on top of that $18 for a movie. But the movie was pretty good. So if you enjoy superhero movies, I would totally encourage you to go see it. I really enjoyed it. Aquaman, did I tell you what I went to see? It was great. I really enjoyed it. Jason Momoa, whatever it is, his name is. Holy God. That he's not even human. Let's see. And today was nice. I woke up. Buddy wanted out about 5:30, so I let him out. But I went back to bed until about 10:30. I got to bed a little late. And it's funny, you know, when I was on reserve, my cell phone ringer for crew scheduling was the loudest, most piercing noise possible so that I would never miss a call, right? In reality, all I had to do was have a cat go, meow. Because I'm lying in bed, dead asleep, and my air purifier is running next to my head. It's really loud. And dead asleep, air purifier going. And Buddy from outside went, meow. And my eyes flew open. I leapt out of bed, not wearing anything. Opened the door, of course, wide open. Thank God no neighbors were out. And let Buddy in. It's so funny. I hear him go, meow, and I jump. It's so crazy. Nothing crazy happened earlier in the day. Buddy and I did go for a walk around the neighborhood. My building complex. Usually I let him out by himself and he just kind of wanders off, but today he kind of stuck close to my front door, so I said, well, let's go for a walk. So I followed him wherever he went, and when he paused for too long, I just went and walked in a different direction, and he walked along with me. At one point, I kind of ran a little bit, just for 3 or 4 apartment doors length, and he ran after me, and he moves like a little panther. He's so beautiful. And so we ran for a little bit. I really can't run much because my lungs are still kind of congested. But it was so great to see him running. He looked like he was having so much fun. And we were walking back, and one of my neighbors said, hey, is that your cat? And I said, well, sometimes whatever he wants to be. And she goes, oh, that's great. You know, I've never seen him with anybody. And that just made me feel so proud that he's chosen me. I do give him everything he wants, so it's not that hard for him to make that decision. But yeah, so Buddy came in. I was giving him a little bit of scratch, a little bit of love today. And whenever I do love him a lot, my hands come away. You can't really tell, but my hands come away kind of dirty because he's outside in the dirt and all that stuff. So my hands get a little dirty when I've been playing with him and petting him. And someone asked me about fleas in one of my comments, and I just haven't seen any activity. I haven't seen any behaviors that say I haven't seen him scratching. I haven't seen him biting his skin. I haven't seen any little bumps or any little insects or anything in his ears. So I didn't think he had fleas. But while I was petting him, a little teeny, and it might not be a flea. I don't know what fleas look like on a cat. But this little teeny black spot went like a little zzz on my finger. It was running around my fingertip. And I just crushed it and killed it. And so I was like, ugh, that might be fleas. I don't know. But he's been in my apartment I mean, countless hours since he's been playing here. And I haven't noticed anything. So, I don't know. I went to Target and I got some more cat food. I got a flea collar, which I'm going to put on him when I get back from this this back-to-back trip. I don't want to put a flea collar on him tonight and then have fleas jump off of him if they are here. I want them to stay on him until he can be wearing the flea collar outside, when they can jump off him out there. So we'll see what happens with that. What else? Oh, today. I think I mentioned this yesterday, that I was going to meet with my sponsor and talk about forgiveness. And I was already sort of thinking about what I would say and what I wanted to talk with him about. When I was coming back from the Target and getting some cat food, I was walking through this little parking lot. Remember the parking lot I showed you a couple of days ago where I feed the little stray cat that's there? That parking lot. I was walking through there and there were some pigeons pecking at the gravel and sand. There's no food there. I don't know why they're pecking at it, but I had some crackers in my pocket, little packages of crackers. And so I decided I would open up a couple of packages of crackers and I'd crush them and leave them out for the pigeons. I didn't get too close. I didn't want to startle them, but I did it pretty close to them. Oh, there were two doves as well. They were so pretty. And I figured I would leave some crackers. And I just assumed that, like pigeons do, they would see it, jump, and go eat, right? Nope. They kind of looked over and kept pecking at the gravel and sand and didn't go for the crackers. And they walked away kind of hoping they would, feel safer and go over and eat. And they didn't. They stayed over in their little gravel pit. And I walked away thinking, geez, these pigeons are so stupid. There's all this goodness right over here, and they're continuing to peck in the gravel and in the sand. And I thought, that's actually been my experience. That's been my experience. There have been years where I would just be willful and just continue to do what I thought was the right thing to do and continue to stay in the bad habits that I formed over the course of years and keep pecking away at that sand and that gravel of bad habits and bad decisions when there's a pile of goodness not that far away from me, but I'm so focused on my bad habits that I don't notice all those good little things that are available to me, like those pigeons and the crackers. They didn't notice. They were so focused on the sand, they didn't notice the crackers. And I walked away thinking, geez, I'm getting philosophical around pigeons. But it was the right mindset to go to my meeting with my sponsor and talk about forgiveness. He gave me a book to read, which if you are in recovery, and a couple of you are, and if you've done your steps, particularly 6 and 7, there's a book called Drop the Rock. It's by Hazelton. And it really is an in-depth focus on 6 and 7. And I thought I had worked 6 and 7. And yeah, I look at it once in a while. Spiritual maintenance and all that. But boy, this book is something else. And I was going to sit with my sponsor and talk about forgiveness with him around the topic of relationships. Why I'm single. Why I continue to be single. And, and that was my focus on 6 and 7, is to look at my relationships and why they're not very, existent. And while reading this book, I kept going back to my mother and then back to my mother, and every paragraph thinking about my mother. And I haven't shared with you guys about my mother. Maybe one day I'll share more, but she apparently has a couple years left to live. She has cirrhosis, apparently, and a couple of other things. She has not, to my knowledge, had a drink since 2002. She got sober 6 months after I did, but she's always been a little off. She has some mental illness. Boy, you can see how dirty my hands are from the cat. She's got a lot of mental issues on top of alcoholism and drug addiction, and enough problems where I had, back in 2009, one last time decided that I was going to, what's the word? Emancipate myself from her. I hadn't spoken to her for many, many years before. I gave her a couple chances to have a relationship with me, and she made a lot of decisions that made it impossible. So, yeah, so that's, I'm going too deep into it now. But this book really inspired me to consider being willing to think about reaching out to her. She has reached out to me through a mutual friend, my friend Leo. He reached out and told me that she has a couple years left to live. She is in very poor health, and that she wanted to reach out and start communicating with me. And until that was about, I don't know, a month and a half ago. And I have been very unwilling to want to interact with her. The next time I wanted to see her was in her casket. Yeah, little resentment. And so we'll see. But this book has really opened my eyes to potentially reach out back to her and see what she wants and see what happens. No promises to her, myself, or you. And I'm not looking for relationship experience with my mother, so please don't do not comment on my mother and maybe what you suggest I should do, because I would not like that. But we'll see. I'm a little willing. So I think after New Year's, I'm going to reach out to my friend Leo and say, hey, tell her she can reach me at this email. And we can start from there. So I'm looking forward to that. So I have been talking for 12 minutes. This is good. It's not my typical half-hour-long video. Away from my mom, a couple people have messaged me. I've gotten a few emails from other people asking about the photographs behind me. So I thought I would give you a little tour of these photographs that are actually behind me. Some of my YouTube peers, all of my YouTube peers, are much more adept at technology, and they can pop up a photograph on the screen. None of these photographs have ever been scanned. Many of them are over 40 years old. None of them have ever been scanned. They've never seen a computer. The closest they've seen to a computer is through the viewfinder of my camera. So I'm literally going to hold them up to you. And show you what they are, because I'm not about to go scanning them and then downloading and whatever I'd have to do to get them to pop up on the screen. So I'll show you a couple pictures. This is my favorite picture. I really should be able to take this out of the thing. I'm not gonna. It is a picture of can you guys even see that? It's a picture. That's Mark right there. That little boy there is Mark. He's my little brother. He died, no, I guess a couple years after this picture. That's me over here. If anyone remembers the band 10,000 Maniacs, the lead singer Natalie Merchant, I had her haircut before she did. This is a picture probably around the same time. We had moved from, I think, Attleboro, Massachusetts to Texas. And this is right after we moved to Texas. We're standing on the banks of a little river. I was not in the water because I heard there were snakes in the water. But this is a picture of Mark and me. I am the taller one, as you can see. Oh, that's blurry. There you go. I'm the one on the right, or your left. And Mark is the one holding his little crotch there. He had to pee, apparently. But you'll notice how skinny we were. See our ribs? Mark was probably three or four. And, you know, we're supposed to be a little bit more cherub-like, you know, a little more plump at that age. But we didn't eat a lot. My mother, back to my mother. My mother had a little problem. She liked her Jim Beam more than she preferred milk on the table. So we didn't have a lot of food. We were really skinny kids. Food was, what is the word? Today they say food insecure, something like that. We went hungry. We would eat dry Cheerios sometimes for dinner. Scrambled eggs were probably our mainstay because eggs were super cheap, and I love scrambled eggs. This picture is crazy because it looks like a picture of bounty, in that Mark and I are sitting at a table. I remember everything about this moment. I remember what the table, the placemats felt like. They're made out of like palm leaves. I remember the fruit bowl had a little chip in it. I remember the piece of toast, and we had scrambled eggs. And there's a bowl of apples on the table. This is a picture of Mark and me. I'm over here. This is just before he died, because I remember that haircut. There's this bowl of apples. Look how he was just so cute. This bowl of apples. We had gone apple picking. It was we went once. My mother took us apple picking, and wait. This must have been a bit before he died, because this is apple picking season. So he died in April, so it must have been like 6 months before he died. So we went apple picking, and we had more apples than you could possibly imagine. And so we had a big giant bowl of apples, and we made apple pie that night. I was making apple crumble in a 9x13 dish. I remember this day. It was happy. It was a happy day. Huh? Let's see, what else do we have back here? This is a very, sorry, it's all blurry. This is a photocopy of a photo. I know, we're so classy. But this is the only picture I have of my grandmother and my grandfather when they were younger. My grandmother was never a lovely woman. She was never pretty. She apparently back then had a hot bod. She was smoking hot, kind of neck down. She was a lovely woman. She was a lovely woman. She just wasn't classically pretty. She wasn't. This is a good picture of her. It's an old photo full of shadows, and it's been torn and folded, but I can see her in here. And my grandfather is thrown into deep shadow, but even here I can see his broad, smooth forehead, his wonderful, clean, classic nose, his full lips, his high cheekbones, his thick, thick hair. My grandfather, oh, even in shadow, and my grandma, but my grandfather was spectacular looking. He was so handsome. Oh, he was so handsome. He was in the Navy. She was working in one of the offices at the shipyard in Pittsburgh. Is there a Pittsburgh Navy Yard? And he went off while they had a tryst, which ended up making my mother, which comes back to my mother. They had a tryst, and he promised he would come back and find her afterwards. And she worked at the Navy Yard, so she knew when all the ships were coming in. So she knew when to be down by the docks, and they had a very romantic meeting where she proceeded to tell him that she was pregnant. He stayed around. Fun fact, when my grandparents met, the night my grandparents met, they met at a party, a dance party during World War II. During that night, they danced and they made out. And he walked her home, which is very nice. She gave him her phone number, and they both lied about their names. I don't know why, but she said that her name was Jimmy, and he said that his name was Jimmy. Very funny. So he called my grandmother at some point. Her father answered, and my grandfather, Arthur, called and said, "Hi, is Jimmy there?" And my grandfather went, "There's no Jimmy here." Click. Whatever. Funny story. They had a love affair that lasted for many, many, many years. He died when he was 65. She passed away about 20 years later. And all she wanted was to see my grandfather again. Blah, 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 blah. What a crazy video this is. I hope I post this. Maybe I won't. You know, all about cat. Did I mention? It all comes back to Buddy the cat. Did I mention he used the litter box? I left the house today for about like 6 hours. He was by himself. And when I came back in, I saw that he had used the litter box. I don't know if I told you that or not. If I did, I apologize. But he used the litter box twice while I was gone today. So excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So, you know, one day down the road, I know that at least he knows where the litter box is, how to use it and all that. So super exciting. All right. So I have been talking for way too long about all manner of crap. You know, you guys are so patient. You watch my videos. It's crazy. And then I watch other flight attendants Vlogmas, and I'm thinking, you know, it makes so much sense. They talk about what trip they've been on, you know, what their hometown is like. They're traveling to see family, and it's all very logical and nice. Then you see my videos, and it talks about feeding pigeons, stray cats, and my mom. Poor you. But if I decide to post this video, thank you for watching. And I promise that I will not make another video that's so crazy next time. Unless you like it a lot, then I'll continue. But you guys have a great day, and you fly safe, and I will talk to you tomorrow on Vlogmas Day 23, probably in Seattle. That's where I am tomorrow. All right, you have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Fly safe.